So let me go over the basics. The procedure starts with preparing the patient. Don't forget that. When you're in your training, it's very easy to get all focused in on how do I do it? You know, what do I do first? How do I use the blades? How do I use the scissors and so on? Very easy to forget that it's a patient there that you're working on. So I just remind you that patient preparation is where this starts. And we use either a peribulbar or an anterior conal block. Anterior conal was popularized in the UK. So I generally just use a peribulbar, but you might consider the anterior conal block as well. There's some data that it might be a somewhat safer technique. In my hands, it's very rare to have a problem with the peribulbar. And patient education is actually the very first step. So this is where you're making sure they understand what's going to happen to them. It's not uncommon that when you're working in low access environments where they don't have access to medical care, that they don't understand what's going to happen. And part of a good, safe procedure is that the patient knows what's going to happen so that they can participate with you. This is local anesthesia, as you know. And so when you are working in an environment where a patient doesn't know, can't work with you, you've just made your job twice as hard. So it's really well worth it to spend time so that they can work with you. And my wife is my anesthesiologist, in effect. She does no drugs. She does no medicines. Well, actually, you do a few eye drops, but that's it. But the patients that she has talked to, I've actually noticed over the years of us working together, because she knows exactly what I'm going to do and explains that to the patients. You know, you will be laying down. You'll feel his hands on your forehead. You will see a bright light that will come into your vision, and then you won't be able to see anything. And then you'll feel things moving, and you'll feel it cold on your face from the water, because it can feel cold and hot. And then you may feel some pressure, and so on. She goes through the whole list just like that. And as she does that, when they come in to me, it's like, oh, okay, I've already done this. And if that doesn't happen, every time I do something different, the patient is anxious. Because they don't feel nothing, they always feel something, so they need to anticipate what that is. So raise the awareness, address wrong concepts is very important. In many of the environments where I have worked, patients think all sorts of terrible things are happening to them when I'm doing their operation. Everything from I'm taking their eye and polishing it, taking their eye out. Some patients told us that we were giving them some other person's eye. So they saw other patients waiting and they thought we were just swapping the eye. So I'd take this one's and give them that one, and then they would see better. So horrible thoughts, Kim.
In South Africa, they thought we were going to take their eye out and put in a dog's eye.
And then there's the dog eye. Yes, there's the ever popular. Maybe we could do a dog eye transplant. Wouldn't that be great? Then we'd have a solution. We could no more corneal transplants. We just so we need to address wrong concepts and build trust using respectful communication. In some cultures, the respectful communication part is really lacking, I've noticed. I don't know about here, but I just say that in some places, I just want you to be aware. Hitting your patient is not generally a good way to create trust, to build trust. But it's unbelievable how common that is. If a patient is not cooperating like you think they should be cooperating, the response typically should not be a really aggressive one. The response should always be to something that would help build trust. Okay? And establish proper expectations about what they're going to get. Be sure to always ask if they have any questions, even though you've heard the questions 1,000 times. It's the first time they've asked it, so don't forget.